Good afternoon, Manufacturing All-Stars, and welcome to this special non-alcoholic automation fair edition of Manufacturing Happy Hour. Today, you are going to learn how to take a practical approach to cybersecurity in a control systems environment. I'm joined by my counterpart, Umair Masud. Cheers, Umair.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Now, you are a product manager for our cybersecurity services. Can you give a little more detail around that role?
Yeah, sure. So my responsibility within Rockwell is to develop the portfolio of offerings for both networking and security services. And so what I do is really try to understand what the needs of our customers are and then make sure that our offerings from both of those perspectives are addressing those needs.
And before this episode started, we were talking about what you referred to as an attack continuum, and that seemed like a good baseline to explain cybersecurity in a control systems environment. Can you go into a little more detail on that?
Yeah, sure. So, one of the ways that Rockwell Automation likes to think about helping our customers improve their security posture is to really think about it in the perspective of making sure they've got defensive capabilities across this attack continuum. And so we want them to think about it from the perspective of what are you doing before an attack occurs, during the attack, and after. And so making sure they've got this wide breadth of capabilities across this continuum. So when you start to break down some of these components before, during, and after, what we're really talking about is capabilities before, for example, maybe identifying what you have within your environment, right? Understanding at a deep level, for example, what are the risks you may be exposed to, the threats that you may be exposed to, understanding what all is connected in your environment. And that really should help you then understand and put together a plan to understand how to protect your environment. And that may be in the form of certain prevention mechanisms. During an attack, really, some cases you'll have certain events occur that have bypassed your protection mechanisms.
Yeah, makes sense.
So you have to have the capability to detect when that happens.
Right.
And so really, during the attack, that's what you want to focus on. After the attack, right, it's all about how you respond and recover. And so having capabilities to be able to mount an effective response that leads to a rapid recovery is extremely important.
What I love about your answer is, you define it as it's not just a proactive approach, it's not just a reactive approach, it's really this spectrum of actions. Now, cybersecurity is a big topic for the folks out there. What is the most common gap that you see? Where do you see things missing with most customers?
Sure. So, I think a foundational requirement in cybersecurity is having a thorough asset inventory.
Okay.
Right? Not just understanding what all is living within my environment, what all is connected in my environment, but what the attack surface of that environment is, right?
Okay.
And so, one of the things that we recommend customers do first is to go and conduct a thorough asset inventory. And that really happens in a couple of different ways. So one of the ways is, we understand that these industrial control environments are very complex. There may be some islands of automation, some unconnected networks, some assets that maybe only show up during certain times a day. You may have non-routable networks. So really initially take a manual approach. Do some walkarounds, so that you can truly understand what all is within your environment, and then use that data to try to understand what the attack surface of those assets are. The next piece beyond that is, when you take a manual approach and you're doing a walkaround, it's great for an initial picture, but as soon as somebody walks out the door, after they finish that activity, the data may be out of date.
Yeah.
So the key then is to be able to marry that with a more continuous approach, right? Having something like a passive tool that can keep that data fresh, right, and up to date is extremely important.
Good. So staying current, recognizing that the process isn't just done after you've taken these first steps. That was a pretty good overview on what the actions to take as well too, I would say. Since obviously security is a big topic, this is really just the intro video to it. The call to action I would have for you folks out there today is if there's another topic on your mind related to cybersecurity within control systems, let us know in the comments on YouTube. That's probably the best spot to put your thoughts, and we can understand what to cover in the future. We'll also have some links below in terms of the topics that Umair addressed and how Rockwell can help with those. In the meantime, Umair, thanks so much for joining for the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers. And for the rest of you folks out there, stay innovative, stay thirsty, and we'll see you again next time on Manufacturing Happy Hour. Cheers.